Good afternoon. It's about 3:15 p.m. on Central Mountain Time, October 19th, 2020. And I went to town earlier today in Tahlequah, the Cherokee County Health Department. I got a flu shot. This is I usually get a flu shot every year, but last year I kind of didn't. Normally, they have down in Muskogee, the medical staff, community medical people, personnel down there, they get together and they have a what they call a drive-through uh, at the Honor Heights Park down there, and they have it's called Boo the Flu. Maybe you've heard about it. They have it in your neck of the woods, but they have it in the month of October. They usually have it closer toward Halloween. Well, I didn't I didn't keep track of it this year, and they had it this past Friday on the 16th. So I had heard some other health departments had got their flu vaccines in, so I called up the local one. They said yes, they did have about a couple dozen left, but they didn't think they'd have them. Uh, throughout the rest of the day, they didn't know when they'd get them any more in or at all. So I uh, got around and went and got it, and I never really believed in the whole anti-vaxxer uh, thing. I don't understand why people are still following the erroneous, malicious, fake accusations that this person who, doctor, scientist, whatever, I call him a quack, and I don't know his name, and I don't want to know his name, but he published a report about 25 years ago, and he was saying that, vaccines cause autism in young kids because schools require young kids to become vaccinated, smallpox and mumps and MMR. And so uh, he got people riled up because that is when a lot of people start noticing autism in young kids. Of course, you're going to start noticing social behavior problems, not problems, pardon me for saying that, but social behavior distinctions in people, young people, 5 or 6 years old, when they've not been out around a lot of people. You got to realize you got young kids, they are basically living knowing only their parents, their grandparents, relatives, members of the church community, people of the local neighborhood, so they're not interacting with hundreds of other kids, adults on a regular basis. And it's a lot for our educators to, especially young students, young educators well, any type of educators in the preschool, grade school range, because I'm pretty sure it takes a lot of patience and to have to uh, interact with people, young kids who are maybe scared of you, who don't want to do things a certain way, who don't want to do things this way, who don't think the kids should have, that package of crayons. So, yes, there's going to be behavioral changes when kids start entering preschool, kindergarten, elementary school, so forth. And we should not look down on autism or Asperger's because it is not a bad thing. You know, I had social interaction issues when I was in school, and I still do have it, and it's nothing to be ashamed of. But I think it's these parents, these Karens, and Todd's and Kevin's, Becky's, Gertrude's, they want their kids to be in the clique. And what I'm just wondering is how many of these poor young people who are millennials or Gen Xers now, baby boomers even, they had these conditions when they were growing up, and their parents thought the best way was to take a belt and hit them. I mean, that's got to be crazy. And, people back then didn't get a lot of help. And just because you didn't get a lot of help back then does not mean your kids or grandkids don't deserve to get help. And you shouldn't you shouldn't hold a grudge the fact that people were too stupid, ignorant to do anything 40, 50 years ago. Now we're willing to take a different approach to everything. And, I have, relatives, family who have had, you know, I don't want to say problems. I don't want to say issues. I want to say it's more like everyone approaches a subject differently. And that's been the biggest problem with education is you got a teacher who's trying to teach 24 students the same thing, the same way, the same results. And it's hard on these teachers. I understand it's hard. And it's probably why will never want to be a teacher. And kudos to those who can get through it. But, I knew I had some distant cousins that were fraternal twins. One was great with books and studying and knowledge and can tell you things and can tell you that. Another one, he wanted to be down in the basement, tinkering around with stuff, uh, you know, uh, building things, taking things apart, putting them back together. And thankfully, his parents let the kids do that. And you got to realize that your kids are going to be different. Some kids want to play sports, some kids want to play music, some kids want to paint, some kids want to write, some kids want to just do nothing at all. So, well, not nothing at all. You got to get them to do something. But this whole notion, I think, anti-vaxxers really comes from the fact that you don't want your child to be considered any different. So you want your child to be accepted by the clique. Even more, you want to be accepted by the clique's parents. I mean, it's like Mean Girls, but it's like Mean Girls never graduates. And from what I understand from my hometown, it's basically the same thing. The Mean Girls went and got Prego, got knocked up, had Mean Girls kids, and I'm pretty sure they're going to do the same thing. They're going to go get knocked up and get Prego and have Mean Girls kids too. So, you shouldn't be looking at the people who are goth or the people who want to do things differently. That's what I think it is. You're so ashamed that your child may not throw 15 touchdowns a game or may not run faster than Usain Bolt on the track team or won't date the prom king. So, you can't put that much pressure on a child. But that should not stop you from being healthy because you need to get your vaccines. You need to get your kids vaccinated. You need to get a flu shot. If you can't, my mom can't get a flu shot, and she's just getting over COVID-19. So I don't know what the hell she's going to do the rest of the winter because flu season's coming up, and we're going to, well, we never did get over our first strike. We're getting a double whammy of a first strike now. This is kind of like, the director's cut, extended edition of the COVID-19 in this country. And I know a lot of friends. One of my good long friends I've known for 30 years, she can't have a flu shot. And, she was sick earlier this year herself. And we're really putting these people at risk because they have to get out, they have to do things, they have to go shopping, they have to try to interact with people, they have to go to work, and if they can't get a flu shot, then it is your responsibility to get a fucking flu shot so they don't get sick. I mean, for God's sakes, do something else. Do something for somebody else. And, if you can't get it for free at your health department, I don't know, I'm pretty sure your insurance can probably, take care of it. I know when I had insurance, I think it was like $10 copay, so that's like, what, $10? I mean, you're going to spend, like, more money, at the, Whole Foods buying organic, chicken parmesan, so what's the deal? I mean, come on. It's not always about you, it's about other people. And, still wear a mask, wear gloves, hand sanitizer, wash your hands, and get a flu shot. Come on. If you never had any problems for the flu shot before, you're not going to have one now. Alright? Unless your doctor has told you you can't get a flu shot because of previous medical history, you're going to be fine. I know people say, well, I always get a flu shot and then I get sick afterwards. I don't know if that's even true or not. I've never gotten sick after getting a flu shot. So, and I'm talking about several years. And let me close on this. Let me take you back to the 1980s. So, I think it was winter of 1989. It was, February, March. Growing up in Georgia, they had a huge outbreak of flu. And if you think this past year in which people were closing down the schools was bad, well, there was people in school districts, they had to close for weeks. It wasn't months like, some other school districts did with the COVID, but weeks, because they had so many people out sick, teachers, faculty, students, administrators. They could not teach those kids, and also they did not want to put, the kids who hadn't got sick and the staff and the teachers who are at risk because a lot of them have kids in the school district, a lot of them have grandkids in the school district. So a lot of people shut down school districts. Mine didn't. I think we barely stayed above the minimum required by law to keep open. But there was several days I was coming to school, and half the classroom would be out, sick with the flu. So the next year, it was the fall of 1989. I think it was about the week before Thanksgiving holiday break. They were taking students by buses to the health department. Like on several days. I don't think they could do it all one day. But I think they did grades or so many at a time. And they said that if you wanted to, you could go ahead of time. And my mom took me and my brother to the health department. And there must have been about 24 other families waiting in line there at 8 o'clock in the morning. All right? They weren't messing around. They did not want to get sick this year. So get your damn flu shot. Shut the fuck up about anti-vaxxers. And think a lot differently about people with autism. Don't think of it as something bad. They're great people. They just don't comprehend things the way you do. I had a friend in college. He could not read to memorize anything. He had to have it told to him. So he had to buy books on tape, remember tape, to study. And he was a pretty good uh, uh, student. He now works, last I heard, at the USDA as a statistician. So it's not all bad. What you're hearing isn't the real thing. It's been discredited. The guy he made it all up. So why are we still going on about this a generation later? Come on.